Hi there, I'm Grandma, and today I'm going to read you a book I think you're really going to like. It's called Dear Mrs. LaRUE, Letters from Obedience School, and it's about a doggie. So when you open it up, here's the picture inside the front cover. This is Mrs. LaRUE, and look, there's her dog, and his name is Ike. So here's how the story starts. It says, local dog enters obedience school. Citing a long list of behavioral problems, Snort City resident Gertrude R. LaRUE yesterday enrolled her dog, Ike, in the Igor Brotweiler Canine Academy. Established in 1953, the academy has a history of dealing with such issues. I'm at my wit's end, said Mrs. LaRUE. I love Ike, but I'm afraid he's quite spoiled. He steals food right off the kitchen counter, chases the neighbor's cats, howls whenever I'm away, and last week while I was crossing the street, he pulled me down and tore my best camel's hair coat. I just don't know what else to do. School officials were unavailable for comment. So that's a picture of Ike when he got sent to obedience school. Obedience school is where you send your dog if you want them to obey you better. So here we are. Here's the picture. And here's the first note from Ike. And see, here's the picture of him mailing it to Mrs. LaRUE. It says, Dear Mrs. LaRUE, how could you do this to me? This is a prison, not a school. You should see the other dogs. They are bad dogs. Mrs. LaRUE, I do not fit in. Even the journey here was a horror. I am very unhappy and may need something to chew on when I get home. Please come right away. Sincerely, Ike. So here's a picture of him on the way to the school. Dear Mrs. LaRUE, were you really so upset about the chicken pie? You know you might have discussed it with me. You could have said, Ike, don't eat the chicken pie. I'm saving it for dinner. Would that have been so difficult? It would have prevented a lot of hard feelings. Needless to say, I am being horribly mistreated. You say I should be patient and accept that I'll be here through the term. Are you aware the term lasts 2 months? Do you know how long that is in dog years? Sincerely, Ike. These are wonderful pictures, aren't they? Look, it's snowing. Dear Mrs. LaRUE, I'd like to clear up some misconceptions about the Hibbins cats. Remember, that's the neighbor's cats that he likes to chase, it says. First, they are hardly the little angels Mrs. Hibbins makes them out to be. Second, how should I know what they were doing out on the fire escape in the middle of January? They were being a little melodramatic, don't you think? The way they cried and refused to come down. It's hard to believe they were really sick for 3 whole days. But you know cats. Your dog, Ike. So see, there's the pictures of the kitties. They were out on the fire escape. Oh, here's another picture. See, look at this. They're at the doggy school, and there's the other doggies over there there's the teacher. But there's Ike. He's sitting there reading a book. Dear Mrs. LaRUE, you should see what goes on around here. The way my warden, Mrs. Klondike, barks out orders is shocking. See, that's Mrs. Klondike up there, like I said, the teacher. Day after day, I'm forced to perform the most meaningless tasks. Today, it was sit and roll over all day long. I flatly refuse to roll over. It's ridiculous. I won't do it. Of course, I was severely punished. And something else, and another thing. Who will help you cross the street while I'm away? You know you have a bad habit of not looking both ways. Think of the times I've saved you. Well, there was that one time anyway. I must say you weren't very grateful, complaining on and on about the tiny rip in your radio coat. But the point is you need me. Yours, Ike. See, there he is getting hauled away because he wasn't rolling over. Oh, look. That's a serious-looking teacher, isn't it? Dear Mrs. LaRUE, the guards here are all caught up in this good dog, bad dog thing. I hear it constantly. Good dog, Ike. Don't be a bad dog, Ike. It's really so good to sit still like a hammock. Is it really good to sit still like a hammock all day? Nevertheless, I refuse to be broken. Mrs. Klondike has taken my typewriter. She claims it disturbs the other dogs. Does anybody care that the other dogs disturb me? Yours, Ike. So see, now he has to just write with his own pencil. He doesn't get to type anymore. Okay. Dear Mrs. LaRUE, were the neighbors really complaining about my howling? It is hard to imagine. First, I didn't howl that much. You were away these nights, so you wouldn't know, but trust me, it was quite moderate. Second, let's recall that these are the same neighbors who are constantly waking me up in the middle of the afternoon with their loud vacuuming. I say we all have to learn to get along. My life here continues to be a nightmare. You wouldn't believe what goes on in the cafeteria. Sincerely, Ike. P.S. I don't want to alarm you, but the thought of escaping has crossed my mind. See, look, here they are in the cafeteria. He has to hold up his little bowl for food. Okay, are you ready? Look at this. It looks like he's going in for some medical treatment. Dear Mrs. LaRUE, I want to tell you this. I hate to tell you this, but I am terribly ill. It started in my paw, causing me to limp all day. Later, I felt queasy so that I could barely eat dinner, except for the yummy gravy. Then I began to moan and howl. Finally, I had to be taken to the vet. Dr. Wilfie claims that he can't find anything wrong with me, but I am certain I have an awful disease. I must come home at once. Honestly yours, Ike. There he is. He's sitting in the bed. Do you think he's trying to think of a way to get to come home? Oh, look at this. There's a pumpkin festival going on. It says, Dear Mrs. LaRUE, thank you for the lovely get well card. Still, I'm a little surprised that you don't come and get me. I know what Dr. Wilfie says, but is it really wise to take risks with one's health? I could have a relapse, you know. With fall here, I think about all of the fine times we used to have in the park. Remember how sometimes you would bring along a tennis ball? You would throw it and I would retrieve it every time, except for once in a while when it landed in something nasty and I brought you back a stick instead. Oh, how I miss those days. Yours truly, Ike. P.S. Imagine how awful it is for me to be stuck inside my tiny cell. P.S.S. I still feel pretty sick. Okay, here's the next letter. See, it shows him looking the envelope up there. It says, Dear Mrs. LaRUE, by the time you read this, I will be gone. I have decided to attempt a daring escape. I'm sorry it has come to this, since I'm really a very good dog, but frankly, you have left me no choice. How sad is it not to be appreciated? From now on, I'll wander from town to town without a home, or even any dog food, most likely. Such is the life of a desperate outlaw. I will try to write to you from there time to time. I carry on with my life of hardship and danger. Your lonely fugitive, Ike. So he's going to try to figure out how to get out of that school. Oh my goodness, look at the headlines. It looks like he got out. Here's the story. It says, LaRUE escapes doggy detention. Former Snort City resident Ike LaRUE escaped last night from the dormitory of the Igor Bratweiler Canine Academy. The dog is described as toothy by local police. His current whereabouts are unknown. To be honest, I thought he was bluffing when he told me he was planning to escape, said a visibly upset Gertrude R. LaRUE, the dog's owner. Ike tends to be a bit melodramatic, you know. Now I can only pray that he'll come back. Asked if she would return Ike to Bratweiler Academy, Mrs. LaRUE said that she would have to wait and see. He's a good dog, basically, but he can be difficult. See, look, they've got a picture of him up there so people can see him, and they're offering a reward for somebody that can help find him. Oh, look, he wrote her another note. It says, Dear Mrs. LaRUE, I continue to suffer horribly as I roam the barren wasteland. Who knows where my wandering will take me now? hopefully to some place with yummy food. Remember the special treats you used to make for me? I miss them. I miss our nice, comfy apartment, but mostly I miss you. Your sad dog, Ike. P.S. I even miss the Hibbins cats in a way. See, he's just going places he's never been before, and I think he's a little sad. Oh, look. There he is waiting for a bus, and here he is on an airplane. Here's his note. It says, Dear Mrs. LaRUE, the world is a hard and cruel place for a stray dog. You would scarcely believe the misery I have endured, so I've decided to return home. You may want to try to lock me up again, but that is a risk I must take, and frankly, even more than myself, I worry about you. You may not know it, Mrs. LaRUE, but you need a dog. Your misunderstood friend, Ike. So he's going to go home. So we see what happens when he goes home. Oh, look at that big truck. Oh, and look at this. It says, Hero Dog Saves Owner. Ike LaRUE, until recently a student at the Igor Brotweiler Canine Academy, returned to Snort City yesterday in dramatic fashion. In fact, he arrived just in time to rescue his owner, Gertrude R. LaRUE, of 2nd Avenue from an oncoming truck. See, look at the truck. Look, there's Mrs. LaRUE. Think about that while you listen. Mrs. LaRUE had made a trip downtown to purchase a new camel's hair coat. Apparently, she neglected to look both ways before stepping into the traffic. The daring rescue was witnessed by several onlookers, including Patrol Newton Smitzer. He rolled right across 2 lanes of traffic to get to her, said Smitzer. It was really something. I haven't seen rolling like that since I left the police academy. See, can you see the picture? There's Mrs. LaRUE, and here's Ike rolling across the traffic to save her. There's the policeman over here who saw it all. Oh, look at that. Looks like Ike is a hero. Mrs. LaRUE was unhurt in the incident, though her coat was badly torn. I don't care about that, she said. I'm just happy to have my Ike back home where he belongs. LaRUE said she plans to throw a big party for the dog. All the neighbors will be there, and I'm going to serve Ike's favorite dishes. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful that he's back home again? And look at the last page. It says, I'll bet he can't wait to taste the chicken pie. And there's a picture of him eating the chicken pie. Looks like chicken pie is his favorite food, huh? Well, I hope you enjoyed that story about Ike and his owner, Mrs. LaRUE. I have one more story about Ike, and I think you're going to really like it. You take good care, and you remember I love you. Mwah. See you soon.